The invasion of Gaza getting delayed as Iran ramps up direct threats against America. Israeli troops and tanks briefly raiding northern Gaza overnight as they prepare the battlefield before an expected full-blown ground invasion. Those developments come as Iran plays with fire. The Pentagon revealing Iran-backed proxies attacking U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria 16 times since October 17th. And the radical regime feels bold enough to issue this warning to the United States while at the UN.
I say frankly to the American statesmen who are now managing the genocide in Palestine that we do not welcome to expansion of the war in the region. But I warn, if the genocide in Gaza continues, they will not be spared from this fire.
Instead of directly dealing with the Iranian threat, the White House has other priorities. Kamala Harris is following Joe Biden's lead by lecturing Israel on a two-state solution.
We stand for the importance of understanding that we must prioritize humanitarian values, that the rules of war require that there be no intentional attack of civilians, that humanitarian aid be administered, that we do all that we can to ensure that there will not be an escalation, in particular by Iran's proxies in that region of the world. And we have not abandoned, and we still are profoundly committed to a two-state solution.
I won't even ask a question on her. Jesse, the Iranian foreign minister in the United States, in New York, across town, actually comes here and warns the United States will not be spared if the war in Gaza continues, right here in New York City. And by the way, not drawing a distinction between Israel fighting in Gaza and the United States.
Dana just told me she wants to go to the UN and make a citizen's arrest. I've never seen her this angry before. I mean, the guy is like a war criminal. Defund the UN while we're at it, Janine, and just throw that whole building into the East River. So Biden's being tested by the Iranians. The Iranian proxies keep taking these pot shots at U.S. bases. Now, some of the service members have now sustained critical brain injuries, and the Pentagon was not honest about what happened. We just found out about it. Eventually, Joe Biden and the generals are going to have to respond. You cannot continue to sustain these types of injuries over and over and over again and do nothing. They only understand strength. So, and they're like gang members. They're going to push and push and push and push until the police say enough. And that's what they're doing right now. They're testing us. Biden's in a pickle because of Ukraine, Russia, and because of what we've done with our energy sources here. He is keeping the Iranian oil game in play because he needs to keep oil prices at a certain level. And this is what I would do. I would say screw the Ukraine situation right now. I'd send a missile right into the energy infrastructure of Iran. They have a hub right by the sea where they export everything they own. I would knock it the hell out of there. And then I'd say, all right, guys, you're on your own for the next 3 years until you rebuild. And that'll get them to shut up.
What do you think of that, Brian?
First off, we know exactly where those militias are. We know where they're located. We know Iraq like the back of our hands. We've hit them before. We've hit them often. We know how they started, who finances them. And we're only allowing them to knock the rockets out of the sky, the drones out of the sky. If I am the family of somebody serving right now in Iraq, 2,500, 900 over in Syria, I'm outraged. I'm letting my kids become targets. I signed up for this country, and you're not allowing us to use the $900 billion we put into it. The only thing Iran understands is direct action. And what we're doing is showing weakness. The only thing in that region that's successful is showing muscle. And instead, we allow this guy to come here and threaten us. If we don't knock it off and stop supporting Israel, they're going to start bombing us. We're going to feel the fire. Is he insane? When is the president going to go get some steel in his spine and start hitting the militia and letting them know it's only going to get worse from there?
Yeah, well, and, you know, Piers, Biden as recently as yesterday said don't. It was, I think, like his ninth don't. And they keep doing and doing. And how long does this go on before Iran starts to believe that they shouldn't?
Well, you're already seeing Iran attacking Americans around the world. You're seeing Iran financing Hamas, who've just launched a massive terror attack, not just on Israelis, but also Americans. I'm not sure what more they need to do before America takes action to defend itself. And the fact that this guy can come to New York City and speak with that brazen impunity in that way about the United States. And, you look at, look, let's be honest. I don't want to be ageist, but you look at Joe Biden. Do you really think that the Ayatollahs
is afraid of him
in Iran care what he is saying about don't? And then Kamala Harris, one heartbeat away from being the president of the United States, they're laughing, right? They're laughing at America. And that's not a good place for anybody. It's not a good place for us in the UK if America is being laughed at in this way. So something has to happen, right? And I had believed from the start of this conflict 3 weeks ago that Iran is behind all of this.
Of course.
That they have deliberately financed, there's a report in the Wall Street Journal which said that hundreds of Hamas terrorists had gone to Iran. 500 had been trained in Iran before this terror attack. I think the scale of it was on a scale that could only have been financed by somebody like Iran. So they have already effectively declared a proxy war on America, because a lot of Americans died that day, right? So at some point, America has to show Iran, actually, you can't do this.
Like we did when we look at Soleimani.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Dana, hit it.
So yesterday we talked about how in Beirut, the leaders of Hamas, Hezbollah, and Palestinian Islamic Jihad all got to have a meeting and drink tea and have the press pool come in for coverage. And they're just allowed to go about doing this with the Hezbollah media office. Okay, there's one thing. Second thing, we have to give them a visa to allow him here. And just like we did in September. And what was the day that we gave them the visa in September when they came here? Oh, it was the day that we announced we were doing a prisoner exchange, and $6 billion were going to be unfrozen for the Iranians. And 3, I believe, of the prisoners that were supposed to go back to Iran were like, we'd prefer to stay here in America. And we let them. So here's what I would do. I'd not let them go home. You can also block them from leaving. Make them stay right here at the hotel until all the hostages are released.
One of those migrant hotels.
Absolutely.
Put them up there.
Roosevelt.
Yeah, make them stay at the
Roosevelt.
You can block him from leaving. You gave him the permission to come in.
Yep.
You can block him from
You
leaving.
know what? Make them stay at Piers' hotel. That's punishment.
And what is a hotel, Pierce?
I'll tell you what happens at my hotel. We practice egg and spoon races.
You
Practice at a cheese.
As you may have seen on his primetime show last night,
practice to win.
the Donald Trump scale whining about the stolen egg and spoon race.
I want to recount.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.